it says he went back to the temple, even though they were trying to kill him because he had some work to do, and all the people started coming to him. He sat down and began teaching them. Now the scribes and the Pharisees, these were the people who taught the Bible, they brought a woman who had been caught in the act of adultery. They made her stand in the center of the court, and they said to him, "Teacher, this woman has been caught in the very act of adultery. Now in the law, Moses commanded us to stone such women to death. So what do you say? What do you say that we should do to her? What is your sentence?" They said this to test him, hoping that he would have grounds, or they would have grounds for accusing him. They're trying to get a plot on Jesus. But Jesus stooped down and he began writing on the ground with his finger. However, when they persisted in questioning him, he stood up and he said, "Who is without sin among you? Let him be the first one to throw a stone at her." Then he stooped down again and started writing on the ground. And they listened to his reply, and they began to go out one by one, starting with the oldest ones until he was left alone with the woman standing there before him in the center of the court. Standing up, Jesus said to her, "Woman, where are your accusers? Did anyone condemn you?" She answered, "No one, Lord." And Jesus said, "And neither do I condemn you. Go on, and from now on, sin no more." He's my light and my shield. What we have here is, first of all, the truth. The truth is, turn the camera to the woman first. The truth is, the woman was caught in the act of adultery. The truth is, the law, the rules said, if you get that situation going on, that person is to be put to death. Because what it's saying is not just saying that's a bad person. What it's saying is you don't trust your father to give you what you're supposed to have, and now you messing with somebody else's stuff. It's just like stealing. Again, remember the two commandments are how we treat God and how we treat each other. And so to commit adultery is to take something that don't belong to you. It's the same category as stealing. Sin is sin, wrong is wrong. So God said this is the standard. You have got to a place where you haven't measured up. And this woman is there, caught in the act, and she is guilty. You hear in the thing, she says nothing until Jesus starts talking to her. There's no defense. This is how we all got to be brought before God's law. God's law is true. Now listen to this. I haven't turned the camera at the religious people yet, but the woman is in a situation where her sin is real and she is guilty before God, no matter how she got there. But we're going to turn the camera from her for a minute. And we turn the camera to the religious leaders. The religious leaders have no interest in this woman. These are the people who have been, so to speak, handed the scriptures from God to take care of his people. What I'm doing right now is functioning in the role of a pastor. A pastor's role is to feed God's sheep. This is why I take my time, and I don't just say what I feel like saying. I'm taking you from this scripture to that scripture, to that scripture, to that scripture. Then we're going to look at where you see what God said that over here. You see a line, I'm telling you, so this is what God said. God said, feed my people my word. And so then in that function, he's taking care of someone. So Jesus has this same identity, this ideal. He's taking care of someone. So the camera then turns to the religious leaders. And as the religious leaders are there, they bring this woman not to help her. She's a means to an end. Her pain, her misery, her loneliness, I'm really not trying to speak into that. I'm really mad at Jesus. I'm really in a warfare with God on who's on the throne or not. Jesus down here shining. He got a new system. I ain't with that. We still gonna keep our own system. What that really is saying is we're gonna do my thing, not his thing. It's the same human heart that try to overthrow God from having his way. Remember we read a couple weeks ago, you've been bought with a price. You're no longer your own. I need to use your life. Remember he said to Peter, let me use your boat so I can fish. And let me do my thing in your thing. And this is what God is calling us to. And so this woman is here. The camera is on the religious leaders who care nothing about the woman, but they are trying to win a war with Jesus. And they say to Jesus, well, let's see if you really want a God's son who you say you are. He says, if you know what the rules say, she's supposed to die. What do you say? And Jesus didn't say nothing. Jesus stooped down and started writing in the sand. And they're like, well, hold on, Mr. Come from Heaven God. What's the answer? They think they got Jesus. They think they got the light on him. Like, we see who you are now. You don't agree with God. You don't even follow the rules. As if God came down here just for the rules. Jesus, after they agitated him enough, he stood up. The first thing you got to recognize, when he went down to get underneath where the woman was so she could get lifted up out of that situation. I'm going to go down there with that guilt that you do have. That's why you ain't said nothing, daughter. Don't worry about it. I'm going to get up underneath that. You get higher and I'm going to go low. Get on my back. I'm going to get you out of here. The building going to fall on me, but you going up. He said, I got down there with her. And then the people who talking about her stood up. You who ain't got no sin, throw the first stone. And all of a sudden, one by one, every rock got dropped. And they all went home because he shined the light back on them and said, y'all don't see me. I see you, though. And I see what your heart about. Y'all brought this woman to me. Listen to this. Not for her to even get no help. You don't even care about this woman. But heaven came all the way down just for this moment. And I wanted y'all to show up like y'all showed up because I know what's in y'all heart. But I want it to be a full display to her. Because when she get up from here, I want her to ever have to worry about what y'all got to say no more again. I don't care who she was. You saw how even though she was who she was, all of heaven went down there to get her as she was. Before she fixed everything, promised to do anything different, said, get up. Defended her. Where are your accusers? Did anybody condemn you? No. Because they seem to have the authority. They had me scared to go to church. I knew what they were saying about me in the community. I've been how I've been. I don't know why, but that's just where I was. But I'm something different now. That woman is protected. She is. That's what salvation look like. Not fix yourself and I'll be cool with you. While you rotten, no good, I still love you. Come on, get up. Let's go. Wipe that off your coat. Put these on now. You ain't got to wear that no more. That's what he said to her. Listen, the transition was, listen. Then he stooped down, writing on the ground. They listened. They began to go out. Standing up, Jesus said to the woman, where are the accusers? She answered, no one, Lord. Condemn me. He says, neither do I. From now on, sin no more. Sin no more is the focus and aim is not on the duties. The focus and aim is on the heart. The heart is, don't go forward living your life, giving yourself away to them. Give yourself to him. This love that just came down and rescued you, do you see through that work the Father standing up on your side? Do you hear through what I just did to protect you from everything that was actually against you? Like that's the Father come down for you. You somebody. You ain't got to give yourself away like you don't live like one of my daughters. Now, if that attitude gets down in the core, all the actions begin to change. There's a new person. That's what it means to be born again. Now, all of a sudden, see it clear now. It's not just a religious terminology. It's just, remember, think about the movie. Christmas time, we hear it every year or see it. Y'all remember Ebenezer Scrooge? That's the gospel. He saw he was living one way. In them dream, he saw like what he was going to get for how he was living. That basically, you wrong, blood. He was talking to his partner who he was getting money with. And he came back and he said, what happened, Jacob? You was a good man of business. He said, mankind wasn't my business. He said, I should have been helping people. I was down there all about myself. He was basically, don't be like me, bruh. Which really means be like Jesus, who gave himself away. And you see, that's where Ebenezer Scrooge came back looking like, helping little Tiny Tim, everybody. He became a new person because he saw it different. He got involved in the story and became a contributor. His stuff wasn't being used. He didn't keep the good pancakes for himself. He started sharing what he had. I want you to experience the goodness I've been experiencing that I don't deserve. He's been too good to me. This is one of the ways I can show it. I got to get this out of me. And so this is an attitude. And so Jesus becomes the light and shield. He defends. So then we close with these last pictures.